Hey everybody, the Reswirl here, and welcome back to more of the Great Ace Attorney. Okay, so finally on to the trial for Case 4, the Clouded Kokoro. I can't remember what I called it. Regardless. Trial. There we go. Hooray! It's about time. It's been a long time coming. I was not expecting the trial to take 3 hours to get through. Not trial, the investigation. The investigation took a ridiculous amount of time. Not too surprising, I suppose. Regardless, defendant lobby. I can't believe it. I'm already back in this courthouse. Yep, just a day later. We came here as exchange students to learn the legal system of this country. As such, we must stand in court to advance our studies. Yeah, you're right about that, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for the defendant. It could decide his entire fate. I can't bring myself to call it just another day of studying. You do have a point. Oh, this is gonna be him. Good morning to you both. Yep. Oh. Good morning, Zoski. Your eyes look completely bloodshot. He hasn't slept. There's a saying in my land, the early to rise gain some small benefit. Yeah, I've heard that. After all, I'm Japanese. So if waking up early earns me a little extra, then should I not sleep for even an instant? In just one night, the benefit could add up to a single penny. That is why you see me here in such a drowsy state. Does he think a not guilty verdict is only worth a penny? I wish you luck today, Sosuke. It's us that'll need the luck. So to finally decree Destiny is a perturbed, fleeting life, I eagerly entrust it to you. How nervous I am. Still don't understand him, but the part about being nervous definitely shines through. I'm glad you understand, so very glad. In any case, substitute law student Naruhodo. Yes, what is it? Just a moment ago, I was able to catch a glimpse of the courtroom's gallery. There were as many people present as there would be on the opening day of a Greek theatre. Is my impending judgment really so popular with the London public? There were that many people? I didn't know that. Would you happen to know why, Susato? Can't really say that I do. The look on her face tells me otherwise. Please do not hide the truth from me. Could it possibly be because of the Grim Reaper? Prosecutor Van Zeeks. Is that why, Susato? I went out and bought all of today's newspapers. And indeed, Prosecutor Van Zeeks was on the front page of every single one. He was right. After he earned the title of Grim Reaper, for a number of years he avoided the courts. Right, Inspector Gregson said the same thing yesterday. Now they want to see him in action. The trial 2 days ago was his revival, after so many years. The horrifying case of Cosney McGundle. Who died anyway. It caused an even greater uproar within London than today's coming trial. And we had no idea, only just having arrived in London. And why has he decided to prosecute such a trivial case only 2 years later? Each newspaper is spreading their own speculation. Trivial? To me, this is the most important thing since the foundation of Japan. My apologies. It's the newspapers that keep saying it. Well, I suppose this will further fuel the blaze of international tensions. Though it is odd that this prosecutor has suddenly awakened from his long slumber. There is one more similarity between the 2 trials he has prosecuted. Indeed, I feel the same way. Of course. That would be you, substitute law student Naruhodo. Oh. Me? I guess that does make sense. In the 2 trials of the newly revived Grim Reaper, one attorney stands against him. Dear me, it almost feels as though you two might be good friends. Don't be ridiculous. I don't make friends with bringers of death. If that's true, then there's one possibility. You have incredibly, hopelessly, irredeemably poor luck. That's a little dramatic. No, defended by an attorney with such dreadful luck, what has my life come to? This unpredictable misfortune is surely monumental, God, than the foundation of Japan. But you're the one who entrusted me with your fate, Sosuke. Yeah, you'll be fine. If I'm defending you, then you're gonna win. I'm just a student with no luck, experience, or real ability, and I've only just arrived in London. But even so, I'm prepared to believe in you and to fight with all I have in me until the bitter end. Oh, substitute law student Naruhodo. You're not alone in London anymore. Whatever may come, we stand beside you. Oh, legal assistant Susato. Then I, Sosuke, humbly, respectfully place my life in your hands. Defendant, attorney. Court is about to begin. Make way to the courtroom at once. You got it. Looks like it's time. Let's go, Sosuke. Yes, sir. Oh boy. It's finally about to begin. My second time standing in a British court. And my second time facing the Grim Reaper. Watch over me, Asugi. This time, I'm ready to believe in my client through and through. And I'll follow what you taught me as well. I'll believe in my own skill, as an attorney as I fight on. Okay. Oh, the jurors are different, I think. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, we declare this court is now in session. I ask you, prosecution and defence, have you fully prepared your cases? The prosecution is ready. The defence is ready. The creatures known as Japanese surely are fascinating. Wow. Why do you say that? I heard about you from Lord Vortex himself. 2 days ago, a pair of Greenhorn exchange students had just arrived in London. What of it? You wish to save the defendant, who happens to be your countryman. Typical Japanese hubris. I apologise for interrupting, but I don't consider that hubris. Susato. As I recall, our last trial ended with a not guilty verdict. So it was. And what a decadent verdict it was. Yet, much to your chagrin, after the trial ended, the defendant met his own untimely demise, yes? Very well. It appears the trial is safe to proceed. Sensible citizens chosen by the capital city. Are you all prepared? Oh my god, really? It's Oscar. Oscar Fairplay. As a gentleman, should I fail to fight for justice today, it may be my life on the line tomorrow. You know, I can be a lot meaner than I look. Maybe it isn't Oscar Fairplay, but it does look like him. Honestly, I thought that was the other guy from the last trial. Yes, as you can plainly see, I'm but a mild-mannered young man. Wait. Joan? This is weird. Honestly, the mustachioed man seems the type that's liable to do just about anything. Let's get this started already. He's got to be guilty of something. Huh? What was that? I can't hear you very well. Huh. I don't actually know if that is Oscar, but it certainly looks like it. Very well then. With that, we shall begin the trial post-haste. Lord Van Zeeks, your opening statement, if you please. Mere days ago, our great empire forged an alliance with an island nation in the Far East. The defendant is a visitor from that very nation. Sosuke Natsume is his name. And reading is his game. We welcomed this exchange student into our empire with open arms, and yet, to our shame, that very student has committed the most heinous crime within our capital. Murder! He stabbed a poor innocent woman on the street using a knife. What in the world? I dare say stabbing someone with a knife is as low as you can go. Look, that yellow face, his tiny stature. That's definitely a Jap. Jesus. I don't even care what you do. Just bring this thing to a close. Ready, set, go. What? What'd you say? I can't hear you so well. Oh dear. How insolent of me to let the Holy Grail loose at the trial's onset. I plead your forgiveness. He does that a lot. Maybe don't throw shit around, you idiot. At this time, I wish to summon our first witness to the court. Very well. Call forth the inspector responsible for leading the investigation of the crime scene. Greggy boy! Is he going to be eating stuff again? Oh yes! Witness, your name and occupation. Yes, sir. My name is Tobias Gregson. I'm an inspector at Scotland Yard. Go on, Inspector. Please describe the events of this case for us. We believe the victim is a 20-year-old woman named Viridian Green. Hold on. What do you mean by believe? All we know is that the victim was stabbed in the back with a knife. 3 days have passed since the incident, but she still hasn't regained consciousness. What? That's crazy. She didn't die, though. So she's unconscious. Is she at least in stable condition? Fortunately for him, this Japanese student has just narrowly avoided a murder charge. Inspector Gregson, I implore you to explain the incident in more detail. Yes, sir. Everyone, have a look at this map of the general vicinity of the scene. Fucker. Briar Road. Calabash. Calabash Road. Is that Meersham? No idea. The incident occurred 3 days ago at around 5 o'clock in the evening. The scene itself was a pavement along the side of a wide alley for coaches on Briar Road. The victim, Miss Green, was walking along the pavement where snow had just stopped falling. But then the defendant sneaked up behind her and plunged the knife into her back. Well, it's a pretty, open and shut case. Fortunately, she managed to cling to her life. She is currently admitted to a local clinic. Is it the Hottie Clinic? But so long as she remains unconscious, we are unable to request testimony from her. These are the victim's files. Very well. The court accepts them as evidence. Case materials. Case overview and information about the victim. Victim was stabbed in the back with a knife and currently remains unconscious. Oh dear. And what of the weapon? Sir, I have it right here. This was found in the victim's back. That's one huge knife. I'd sure hate to be stabbed by that thing. With such a heavy-looking knife, even a weaker person could stab someone with ease. In other words, even a wimp like Suski could have done it. Oh dear. That's quite a plain-looking knife. Very well. We will also accept the knife as evidence. Knife has been filed in the court record. A large, featureless pocket knife was stabbed into the victim's back. So, what was the culprit's motive? Surely he meant to take her valuables. Judging by the items on her person, the victim was but a poor student. I surmise that she wouldn't have had any valuables worth stealing in the first place. In that case, perhaps the perpetrator held some deep resentment toward the victim. We still do not know. The exchange student seldom goes outside, save to visit the used bookshop. At present, we have yet to find any link between the victim and the defendant. Oh. If it wasn't a robbery, and he has no known grudge against her, then Sosuke would have had no reason to stab Viridian. And yet, you still arrested him. Doesn't that seem a bit too rash? Of course. What? Oh my! I knew that was coming. How impudent of me to cast my freshly opened bottle into the gallery. I plead your forgiveness. However... Does he have different coloured eyes? No, they're both blue. It is your own words that should be called rash. Huh? Naturally, Scotland Yard would not arrest a man without a just cause. Inspector Gregson, I order you to testify. Explain to us exactly why the police arrested that man. Yes, sir. Ah, as you wish. Okay. Why we arrested Sosuke? It was around 5 PM when the incident occurred. That day, the fog was unusually thin. The crime scene was an open area with high visibility. No one else, or nobody else, was present. The victim fell to the ground after she was stabbed in the back. The culprit made a run for it, but as he fled the scene, he dropped the items he was carrying. The items in question were old books. It seems he was on his way back from a used bookshop. We identified the defendant as the owner of the books and arrested him. Okay, that doesn't seem like reason enough. Old books, you say? Here's a photograph that was taken by the police shortly after the crime was committed. Oh dear. Indeed, there appear to be books scattered around the victim's body. Please submit this photograph to the court so that it can be admitted as evidence. There we go. Photograph taken by the police of the scene after the incident. A large pocket knife is stabbed into the victim's back. Lovely. I'm not surprised that the Japanese are all utter cowards. Even in the face of such damning evidence, you still deny everything. But well... No, the defendant isn't exactly denying everything. Susato? What do you mean by that? Sosuke has acknowledged that he's connected to this case in one way. Isn't that right, Naruhodo? Now that she mentions it... Yesterday, when we asked him about it at the jail... There was one other individual walking in front of me along that cursed road. She was wearing a green overcoat. When I was about to pass her by, it happened. She suddenly let out a short cry, and then she collapsed onto the cold ground. Terrified, I seized the first opportunity to flee from the cursed scene. At full speed, mind you, back to my cursed flat. A green coat. That has to be it. The victim was wearing a green coat. My word, this is the first time I've ever seen a full colour photo. The defendant confirms that he fled the scene of the crime. However, that doesn't mean that he stabbed Green. That's just an absurd conclusion. At that time, the accused and the victim were the only ones walking on that pavement. Which is to say, nobody else was able to stab the victim. Is the accused himself not admitting to this very fact? Oh dear. It seems the course of this trial will be heavily influenced by this next cross-examination. Bearing that in mind, the defence will now proceed with caution in its cross-examination. Yes, my lord. I have no other choice. This cross-examination will turn the whole situation around, I'm sure of it. Am I okay to press everything? Or should I not? Should I only press stuff that's pertinent? I'll see what happens. Press this and let's see. It was around 5 PM when the incident occurred. That day the fog was unusually thin. The fog was unusually thin. By that I mean that one could actually make out the other side of the street. That doesn't sound very thin. I'm sure it sure is for this city, but I suppose the Japanese wouldn't really know that. I've read in books that London is known as the Old Smoke. In Japan, it's rumoured to be a beautiful sight. Poppycock. See, to us, it ain't so romantic. I see. At this time of year, all that fog causes endless problems, and on especially foggy days, It gets so bad that you can't even see your own hand in front of your face. Just the other day I couldn't even see a coach until I got kicked by the horse. That's pretty bad. However, on the day in question, it seems that bloody fog finally managed to clear up a bit. Much to the chagrin of any potential criminal, I'm sure. Okay. I can press everything. Perfect. The crime scene was an open area with high visibility. Nobody else was present. How can you be so sure? It's simple. The witness said it himself. That's right, Inspector Gregson mentioned that yesterday, didn't he? Right, I believe the witness was an officer of Scotland Yard. You got it. Then we should ask that witness to testify. The witness will be summoned. Should the need arise, anyway. But since it's winter, I'm almost certain the area should have been dark by 5 o'clock. Regardless of how thin the fog was, who knows if a person would be visible in the dark? Wow. Perhaps your tiny distant island nation hasn't discovered the wonders of artificial light yet. But all the roads in the great capital city of London are equipped with gas lamps. Oh. The prosecution believes these lamps provide adequate lighting for them to witness the crime. A city which dispels the darkness of man's past. Indeed, such is our very own city of London. So basically, in order to get the witness to testify, I'll have to get through the cross-examination first. With the defense's silence, you may continue with your testimony, Inspector. The victim fell through the ground after she was stabbed in the back. How can you be sure? She was stabbed in the back? Yep. You can see it plain as day in this here photograph. Yes, there does indeed appear to be a knife sticking out of her back. The victim, Miss Green, is still unconscious. Correct. At present, she is recovering in St. Bartholomew Hospital. We were hoping she'd wake up before the trial. If only we could ask her directly, she might be able to tell us who the perpetrator was. It seems your client is a lucky man. On the contrary, the defense believes him to in fact be incredibly unlucky. Your false bravado is meaningless if you can't even stop your eyes from darting around. Oh dear. We still don't quite have the confidence yet. The culprit made a run for it, but as he fled the scene, he dropped the items he was carrying. What items would those be? Those are also present in the photograph. Yeah, a bunch of books. You must be referring to these 3 used books, I presume. Yes, unfortunately, their time in the snow has left them damaged beyond salvage. It would be easier to carry such a small number of books under one arm as he walked. So it stands to reason that he would have been able to wield a knife in his other hand. Our prosecutor isn't pulling any punches. The argument that he held books in both hands no longer holds water. And now our escape route has been obstructed. I'm loath to admit that he is at least cunning. So the culprit committed the crime while he was carrying those items. Yeah, so it would seem. Why would he drop them then? The items in question were old books. It seems he was on his way back from a used bookshop. You said the defendant had a routine of visiting the used bookshop every day, right? That's correct. It seems the bookshop primarily collected old works of British literature. I must express my respect toward the accused's keen fascination with our own classic literature. You're not wrong there. The defendant's room was damn well near overflowing with old books. Could you tell us a little more about that used bookshop? Oh, fuff. Fine. Take another look at this map of the area around the scene. The closest used bookshop to the defendant's flat would be the Ragged Reader. It's a small bookshop on the corner of Briar and Measham. By the by, the defendant's flat happens to be on the opposite side of Briar Road. After he bought the used books, the route to the defendant took back to his flat would have been this one. Okay. Map of the scene. Okay, locations relevant to the case have been marked. Undoubtedly, if he took this route back to his flat from the used bookshop, then he most certainly would have passed by the crime scene. Naruhodo? The inspector's testimony just now was incredibly important. Yeah, I agree. The most important part of this testimony is location, name, selection. Don't go with the name of it. Not location or the selection. The name. Inspector Gregson, can I make a request? I don't know. Can you? Oh my god. Would you please add the name of the used bookshop to your testimony? I have a feeling that this could be extremely important information. You have a feeling? No, I mean it. It might be a vital clue. Very well. Although I don't see the importance myself. Witness, we request you amend your testimony to include the name of the used bookshop. With pleasure. It doesn't sound too pleased to me. Okay. It's a regular patron of a used bookshop called the Ragged Reader. Oh, yeah, we had a receipt. Oh, I'm dumb. It's not the Ragged Reader. No, it's Tattered Tales from the looks of things. 2 shillings received in payment. Yeah, it doesn't look like the Ragged Reader, it looks like the Tattered Tales. So... I think that's right. Hold it, Inspector Gregson. What is it? I'm busy, you know. It's about a receipt we found in Suzuki's room. The receipt is from a used bookshop. It was printed on the day of the crime, and it notes that he purchased 3 books. You found this in the defendant's room? The problem is the name of the used bookshop. What is the meaning of this? It says that it was printed at a shop called Tattered Tales Book Emporium. Tattered Tales? While it is true that Suzuki purchased used books on the day of the crime, he did not visit the Ragged Reader. What on earth? Inspector Gregson, tell us more about this Tattered Tales Book Emporium. Sir, as it turns out, there is one more used bookshop near the Ragged Reader. But you see, it's such a small shop that we didn't think the defendant would go anywhere near it. But in reality, he did. And this receipt proves it. And what is the point of this? No matter where he purchased his decrepit, mouldy tomes, the conclusion remains constant. Does it, though? What are you talking about? Surely, this changes everything. It doesn't. Naruhodo, here's a map. Oh, thank you. Look right here. It's next door. If the defendant had shopped at the Ragged Reader, then yes, he would have passed through the crime scene on his way home. But if he had been at the Tattered Tales instead, then it's possible that he didn't walk that way. Is that so? Well, depending on where that used bookshop is, maybe. Is this true, Mr. Attorney? Yes, though right now it's only a possibility. Go, can we just find out where Tattletales is, please? Inspector, where is Tattletales' bookshop? Or book emporium? Well, you see, it's next door. Let me take a look. Tattletales would be... Oh. Oh! So, we could actually pose that he went down Calabash Road to his apartment. Or flat. That would have been the... Would that have been the shorter route? Probably. Maybe. Right around here. It's on the east corner of this block. Map of the scene has been updated. Yet again. Well, how about that? As you can clearly see, we are bullshitting. Doesn't really change much. Shoot. It would seem that our exchange student is more of a clown than we once thought. You never fail to make me laugh. And he says that without the slightest trace of a smile on his face. Well, I probably don't have to say this. But even if the defendant was at Tattletales... he would have definitely passed through the crime scene anyway. Indeed, as we can clearly see. No, my big break! I'll say it once more for you, Japanese exchange student. No matter where he purchased his decrepit, mouldy tomes, the conclusion remains constant. Yeah, I guess you were right. No! I knew it all along. And you thought you could fool us. That is Joan. I already done said it. We've got enough proof. Huh? Sorry, could I get you to repeat that? Naruhodo. Now is the time to stand firm. Susato. If you keep quiet and let the prosecution's assertions become accepted as fact, then the jurors may all make up their minds based on that. True. She's right. We should carefully rethink the prosecution's claim. On the way back from Tattletales, would he have had to go through the crime scene? There is a fatal flaw in the prosecution's argument. Explain your self-defense. Oh, that's it. My answer is, right here. When he was on his way home from Tattletales, if he were to take this route,